In this video, I'll be talking to you about the content flywheel effect and what it actually means, how you can implement it yourself, and what it means in terms of implementing feedback loops in your content or organic lead gen process. My name is Jousef Murad. I'm the CEO and founder of Apex. We are the lead gen agency behind Market Leaders and are a Siemens technology partner and work with renowned brands in the tech and SaaS business, but also help agencies, service-based businesses, experts, and service providers with their marketing and lead gen processes, but also AI automation processes. So let's talk about the feedback loop and what it actually means in terms of organic lead generation. When you want to generate leads online, and especially through organic content, first of all, what you have in the very beginning is kind of an idea. You have an idea about your prospect, your customer, your ICP, your ideal customer profile that needs to be validated. Once you post more content, this content is then specifically validated through number of impressions, likes, comments, people who reach out to you, which is then going to happen in the analyzing step or in the analyze step, which, by the way, then gives you more ideas about ideation, because usually people are going to comment on your posts, they're going to reach out asking for a specific service. So this is enough fodder for you to kind of generate more interest. What can happen in parallel, though, is you can come up with a so-called content repurposing strategy. And by the way, if you don't know what that means, I'll be talking about a content repurposing strategy, which is a little bit complicated, but actually very straightforward in one of my future videos. So make sure to subscribe to stay ahead of the curve. So this is where you kind of repurpose content. For example, you have a podcast, which can be transcribed using a specific AI tool, which then can be turned into multiple blogs or even social posts. This can be further scaled via paid ads. So you're running PPC campaigns, so pay-per-click campaigns. You throw money at that system or that input X, which gives you more output. So if you know how paid ads work and you kind of are quote unquote an expert, this is also a flywheel system, which means it's kind of a self-accelerating system. So you throw money via paid ads on a specific content piece, which gives you more impressions, more followers, and ultimately more customers, which gives you more money, which in turn you can then spend on more ads, which you can then also analyze, generate kind of, how we call it, a customer IQ from, and generate more ideas from, because you're starting to understand what are the pains, what are the needs. So rather than just working on the supplementation, you're really working on developing painkillers and really honing your skills in terms of your service, but also your product. This is the last thing I want to show you today, which is kind of a more complicated version of what I've shown you before, which is also a flywheel effect. Usually it starts with a social post, because we're talking about organic lead generation. We're not talking in this video about cold calling, cold emailing, or paid advertisement, which, by the way, will come in a future video. So we have this kind of social post, could be anywhere, could be on Meta, could be on LinkedIn, could be on TikTok. But we take LinkedIn as an example. We start to generate a social post, which, if validated, can be repurposed on platforms such as Meta, YouTube, even on podcast platforms, which in turn gives you input, if you understand your customers or prospects, for paid campaigns. So you can run ads on LinkedIn, Meta, or even Google, which, by the way, generate more followers through paid ads because they are actively seeing your ads. You can even retarget them. So someone who has already interacted with your content or with your ads will see an ad again at a much lower cost, by the way, because if you retarget people, what happens most of the time is that you can retarget them at a lower cost or show them an ad at a lower cost. These followers generate or become more leads. The leads lead to more conversations, which lead to more customers, which leads to more customer IQ, because you actively talk to customers and really identify their pain, their needs, what keeps them up at night, what is really their main motivation behind growing their business or their service or product. This customer IQ gives you ideas for more posts, and if these social posts fail, you have to go back, really deeply talk to your customers and really understand their motivation, their thoughts, their behavior. And usually what you can do there is kind of really interview your customers one-on-one in dedicated calls. And I have to tell you, having been in the industry for a while, not a lot of people do that, but it's extremely, extremely powerful. Another path that I want to show is kind of when you go from social posts directly to leads. This is obviously the optimal way. This can also happen, but this requires a deep understanding of your customers, which, for example, could come from your highly emotionally intelligent individual that understands your customer bases or immediately. So you can generate social posts, you can generate reels, videos, content that generates immediate leads, which leads to conversations, customers, more customer IQ. So you have this whole flywheel effect again. And obviously, more customers generate more money, which you can invest in more paid ads, which I've mentioned before. So you also have a paid ads flywheel, so to speak. You can also, if we do not talk about organic lead generation, just skip that step of generating social posts and jump straight into the conversations. This is where we tap into cold calling. And cold calling is very cost effective in that sense that you can just, if let's say you're starting with your business, you can just call people, talk to them, maybe with or without a script. I would highly advise you to use a script to really always keep the same pitch to a specific target audience. And from that cold call, in a very cheap manner, you can already understand what keeps them up at night, what are some of the pains, and trying to understand really that you maybe should adapt your service or product to really understand what are the ultimate needs. And then from the cold call, you can obviously generate customers or maybe some prospect that you have to then re-engage after a couple of weeks or months. But this taps then into the topic of CRM automation, how you can make sure that you, from a prospect, always continuously reach out and nurture them. We call that kind of a nurture process. But again, from cold calling, you can also take that whole right side away and go from a cold call to a customer to more customer IQ. And even if they do not become a customer, you can kind of circumvent this customer step and go from a conversation directly to a customer IQ, which I haven't put into this diagram, but kind of you can think about it of kind of building more customer IQ, a better understanding of your ideal customer profile by just cold calling them or cold emailing them. I hope that makes sense. If you're interested in also kind of build this full end-to-end lead gen automation system, or even an AI automation system such as a chatbot and lead enrichment kind of process, and even maybe a CRM automation process, and we do much more when it comes to AI and automation systems, so that you can spend more time on your daily business and not waste time on kind of the mundane and tedious tasks, reach out to us, all relevant link in the description, and I'll see you in one of our next videos.